First of all, listen, thank you. Thank you. And you got a good little training with nice. Hey, folks, thanks an awful lot. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Look, it stunned me, the writing campaign you all did. No, it really did. I was very careful not to be here. But really, I was stunned, and I was really pleased. By the way, the national black organizations and Hispanic organizations just endorsed me. Had me down in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, they did it anyway. But thank you very, very much. Look, I'm optimistic, not just about winning, but I'm optimistic about the country. I think the country is just wondering. Look, people have really been banged around for a while now, and with the help of your delegation, and that's not hyperbole, that's a fact. The help of your delegation, we got things passed that no one thought we could get passed. From the everything from the infrastructure bill to veterans bills, all the stuff we got passed, and much of it without a single solitary Republican vote, not one. But we knew it's going to take a little time for people to begin to see the benefits of it, because it's just a big, big country, and there's a lot. Hi, how are you? How are you? I'll keep going. Don't stop me. What's your name? My name's Joe. Is this your big brother? Is he okay? Hey, man. No, my dad used to say, got one job. Keep the boys away from your sister. But all kidding aside, look, I think we have enormous opportunities. Enormous opportunities. The country's ready to get up and go. And everything from what we've been able to do in a general sense, 15 million new jobs, that's good, but it doesn't really connect yet to people, even though they're benefiting from it. Inflation down from 9% to 3%, 800,000 manufacturing jobs. But my dad used to have an expression. He said, Joe, your job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your integrity. It's about your dignity. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, it's going to be okay. And one of the main things I try to do, and I'm going to continue to do, God willing, if we get reelected, is finish the job by continuing to focus on the middle class, because when the middle class does well, the poor have a way up, and the wealthy still do very well. They still do very well. But they got to start paying their fair share. And I drive my staff crazy because I say, how can we be the finest nation, the greatest nation in the world if we have a second-rate education system? How can we be the finest nation in the world if we don't invest in research and development? How can we be the finest nation in the world without the best education system? I mean, just across the board healthcare system. How can we do that? And I think the American people get it. If you take a look at, I know the press is here and they're all wonderful people. I don't know why they don't like me a lot more than Trump, but just the way he talks about you guys, man. That's a joke. I'm kidding. I shouldn't even be kidding with you. I'll pay a price for having said that. But look, everything we've done, if you take a look at it, and none of the polling matters much more now. It's way out. But number two, polling has kind of changed a lot too. It's not nearly as accurate. It's not nearly as capable as it was before, because you got to make 6 zillion calls to get one person on their cell phone, et cetera. But one of the things is that there's 3 things I want to do. One, I want to restore the soul of this country. When I ran the first time I met it. It's not like how privilege, but I'll just be basic dignity, just basic sense of dignity, and just treating people with respect. I mean, I know I don't look it, but I've been around a long while. But all kidding aside, think about it. I doubt whether those of you who've been around half the time I've been around thought it would ever get to this point in the way we treat one another in politics. It's just not healthy. The reason Barack asked me to be his vice president was because of my background in foreign policy, and I had spent awful lot of time traveling the world and knew almost every major world leader, and know them all now as well. They're wondering about us. Well, they're wondering about whether we are the same country have advertised ourselves to be since into World War II. Well, they're wondering about whether we are the same country have advertised ourselves to be since into World War II. There's a lot at stake, and it's about protecting us, not just them. So when I talk about, everybody wonders why I talk in the middle of a campaign about dealing with making sure that Ukraine is taken care of. Well, the message that the president says when he says to Putin, "Come on, if they don't pay their dues, you just come in, do whatever the hell you want." There's things that, anyway, the same thing with regard to dealing with the border. The border, first bill I ever introduced as a president of the United States was essentially what got passed this time out, led by a Republican, by the conservative Republican, who they're vilifying now for having worked out this deal. But look, what we need is just an orderly process at the border, they're not vermin, they're not scum, they're not people who are all criminals coming in. I think the American people don't get it, but the way it's being run now is just not, well, I'm going on too long. But look, healthcare is critically important. I've been fighting from the time I was a kid in the Senate to take on the big pharma companies. The idea that it costs $10 to make insulin, $13 to package it all told, and they're selling for $400 is crazy. It's a ripoff. If you got in Air Force One with me, flew out of here, and I flew you to Toronto, to Berlin, to Rome, to any place in the world. When you brought your prescription with you, whatever it is, for whatever product, you're going to pay 40 to 60% less than any country you land in, but made by the same company. So it's just about being fair, and the process is, it also cuts the deficit. What we did so far, just reducing the cost of insulin from an average of somewhere around $400 a month to $35 a month. Medical self-depletion, it saved the country $160 billion. $160 billion. They're paying out less because the Medicare don't have to pay it. And the same way with regard to the Affordable Care Act. $800. If you have thousands of people here in your state qualifying for it. Well over 100,000 across the country doing it. More than that, quite frankly, significantly more. And the end result of it is that if you didn't have that Affordable Care Act and you had a pre-existing condition, you couldn't afford insurance. So it's just about basic fairness, just basic decency. By the way, I'll stop talking and I'll take questions if you want me to. But one of the things that I found interesting is Trump keeps talking about the deficit. You raised the deficit more in 4 years than any president in American history. We've cut it. We've done all the things. But it's just about, we've never lived up to, we hold these truths to be self-evident, all men and women are created equal, endowed with their creator, etc. We've never fully lived up to it. We've never walked away from it. This guy wants to walk away from it. Listen to what he's saying. Listen to what he wants to do. While I was down in Georgia working on healthcare and making sure that we had the support of all the minority organizations in the country that we support so strongly, he was the Viktor Orban who talked about democracy being the problem and telling me how much he understood him and agreed with him. Come on. So this is not who we are. We got to make sure that we communicate that. I'm going to be working like the devil, and I'm looking forward to doing more and more of these events than the big events because it's how I used to campaign. You've campaigned with me before. Good time. But really, it's just getting to look people in the eye. get their feelings. They tell you the truth when they're talking about. Anyway, am I allowed to take any questions? Anybody here to stay?
Stop it.